Well, to start, this is not the first declared emergency that isn't a real emergency. There have also been emergencies like blocking transactions with Sudan, or blocking property of certain persons in Belarus, or blocking property of persons in the Western Balkans. And all those emergencies are still going, along with 28 others. But maybe this one's different because it's specifically defying the will of Congress. So let's look at the legal definition of an emergency. According to the National Emergencies Act, and they'd know, the President is authorised to declare such national emergency. So it's up to Trump, which means it's an emergency. But according to the same law, he gets no emergency powers until he specifies what provisions of the law he is going to act under. Well, he has done that. It's this law here. This law says in the event of a national emergency that requires the use of the armed forces, the Secretary of Defense may undertake military construction projects that are necessary to support such use of the armed forces. So, he's using the military construction powers. But there's a problem. Because does building a wall require the use of the armed forces? Any construction company could do it. And is building a wall really necessary to support such use of the armed forces? Seems unlikely. But this law doesn't specify how either of these two questions are supposed to be answered. So usually what happens in that case is the courts will defer to the opinion of the head of the armed forces, who is the commander-in-chief or the president. Now, it's a question for the courts if they're going to do that this time, but my guess is the Supreme Court will side with the president because they almost always do. But that leaves one more question. The emergency only has the power to fund military construction projects. So, is building a wall to keep out immigrants a military construction project? Well, as it turns out, the term military construction includes any construction carried out with respect to a military installation. And a military installation is an activity under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of a military department. But this here is the key question. Does building a wall come under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of Defense? That is what is going to determine the outcome of this court case. Now, I would probably say that Mattis was formally called in to help at the border last year, and those troops are still down there. So this does come under the Secretary of Defense's jurisdiction and is therefore legal. But I spent my law school years playing ping pong, so let's see what the Supreme Court says.